following is a special presentation. From the Captain Esports Network.
This isn't just a game. This is iRacing. It is championship night as we welcome you into Atlanta Motor Speedway, the Legacy Edition. The 14th and final race of Season 7 is here, and tonight we crown a champion. Will we see a new champion tonight? Will we see a repeat champion for the second time in series history? Well, we're going to find out in 200 miles as we welcome you into the Atlanta Motor Speedway virtually on iRacing. I am the captain as we get you ready for 130 laps, 200 miles as mentioned, and a lot of things to get you ready for here in the next couple of moments. Qualifying going to begin here in about a minute or so, and then of course we'll have our 5-minute warm-up. And while this goes on, let's get you set up for what's about to happen tonight. 4 drivers are racing for a championship. Now, it sounds like it's a playoff format. That's not the case here. It's just the way it's shaped out. 4 drivers are within 25 points of the championship lead. 1 driver needs to finish 10th or better, and his championship is locked up. As for the rest of them, they've got to go play catch-up here in this race tonight. Now, having a 21-point lead, does that mean it's locked up? With what I'm going to share with you here, not necessarily is the best answer I can give you. We'll talk about that during the warm-up. Right now, though, for the final time in Season 7, we are going to give you qualifying, which is presented by Harpoon Designs. So big shout out to Mike for sponsoring the Pole Award throughout this season here in the All-American Cup Series presented by Harpoon Design. As the cars are going to get out there on track. And let's take a look at who's heading out there right now. First car on track. Let's go to the guy that has been crowned officially here, by the way, tonight. Rookie of the Year, Joseph McWhorter. Of course, he coming off that issue at Bristol where he missed that race. Has come back and has been pretty hot throughout the end part of this season. Has got himself into championship race. But the main thing is he has got himself the clinched spot as Rookie of the Year. So congratulations to him on getting that award. And all started, of course, back at the Daytona race when he went to victory lane there. And he's pulled off a couple of wins this season. But tonight looking to get that big one here, as the 73 drives it down there, Harvicking almost, if you will, through 3 and 4. And we'll see what lap he puts down here for lap number 1 as he crosses the line. .474 right now. Colin Curtis goes P2. Mark Whitley to the top, 30.47. There is your guy that is racing to go back-to-back this season. Won the championship last season, and now looking to get the second straight championship. His team, Driven Motorsports, with Harpoon Designs, of course, has won the championship for the team. McWhorter's got Rookie of the Year. And Whitley could sweep it out and become the second team in the history of All-American to get all three of those titles. Mountain Man Motorsports, of course, back in Season 3 was the first. As Austin Bloom throws a lap down there, P2, a 34.79. A good lap there as Husby jumps to third with a 30.550. Starting to see some good lap times get laid down. Speaking of Mountain Man, this is the guy that won the championship that year in Season 3. Zach Rogers. Rogers going to run a little bit of an unorthodox line. He's going to the top side here. Going to carry a lot of speed down the back straightaway here. He brings her through 3 and 4 through the quad oval. Again, this is the Legacy version for those watching. It's like, wait a minute, this isn't the Super Speedway. No, this is the old version that we're running here, that we still have the pleasure and the opportunity to get to race at times, as Rogers is P10 with a 30.619. Wesley Donaldson, the 61 car, making an appearance here this evening. Almost got the wall there off turn 4, but he qualifies. Looks like P19, 31.13. Couple of other cars, a couple other fast ones out here. It's Casey Carrington. As he crosses the line and goes 20th right now is Miles. 30.469 goes P1. And Carrington did everything but hit the wall through 1 and 2. It's the longest way around the track. We can carry the most speed off the corners and down to straightaways here. Let's see what it does for Carrington as he crosses the line. And didn't go anywhere. P21 30.824. Yikes. Not a good qualifying effort there as Matthew Weeks gets the wall. He gets 1 lap in. He should be able to get a 2nd lap. It won't count, unfortunately, because he got the wall. Now, he's going to have to make up the straightaway time here in the corners, especially that front straightaway time. Only 2 cars have not qualified yet, Steve Ritter and Tyler Bellinger. Everybody else is out there running a qualifying lap. Will Stephen Miles be on the pole, or will Matthew Weeks knock him off? How about Craig Martin P4, by the way, with a 30.51. Weeks goes 30.52. And that's after scraping the wall. So Stephen Miles is going to win the pole here at the virtual Atlanta Motor Speedway. Congratulations to him as we get you now set up for the race here this evening. Big shout out to Mike Husby Designs for sponsoring the pole award throughout the season. Let's bring you the point standings. Mark Whitley leads by 21 over Casey Carrington, Joseph McWhorter, and Matthew Weeks. Those are the 4 guys that will be racing for the championship here tonight. Of course, for Whitley, all he has to do is finish in the top 10. If he can finish in the top 10, and that's without leading a lap or anything like that, he will win the championship. No problem. Game, set, match. Carrington, McWhorter, Weeks, they got to get up there, and they need to maximize the amount of points they can get just in case Whitley does it. Now, here's where it gets interesting. For Whitley, I went back and did the research here. The 1.5 mile tracks have not been his cup of tea this year. We have run 4 tracks of 1.5 miles. Charlotte Motor Speedway, the Legacy, Las Vegas, Texas, and Motegi. Those 4 races, Mark Whitley has averaged actually the worst finish out of the 4 of the drivers racing for the championship. Now, his average finish is 13.5. That's not good. The rest of those guys have finished 4th or higher on average finish. Here's the other alarming part. Whitley has 18 incident points during those 4 races, which is the most among all the drivers that have started the races in those 1.5 mile tracks. Now, it sounds negative towards Mark, but Mark knows how to get it done at the same time. He's won these same tracks before. So if there's anyone who can get it done, it's Mark. But if we go off the numbers and the logic, there's possibilities here that this could fall away from Mark if something bad happens tonight. So he's going to have to work his way away from that. And as I bring that up, I want to bring Mark in here. If he's in Discord, let me see if he's in here. I'm so used to everybody being on one Discord. He is not in here right now. So he's obviously getting ready for the race, so we'll let him go. But that's the situation for the points tonight. So we're going to keep an eye on it. If anything happens to the 77, this could get interesting when it's all over with. And not to mention, in every series pretty much I've been broadcasting the last few weeks, things have gotten interesting. Put it like that. Team points locked up. Driven Motorsports with HDR, they got that. Congratulations to them on winning the team championship there. Joseph McWhorter, congratulations to him. He is the Rookie of the Year, holding off Justin Thompson. Obviously, Isabella, Rosenberg, those guys there. Rosenberg could jump to third, if not second, by the end of tonight, depending on how he does in the race. Manufactured points, Chevrolet wins over Dodge, Pontiac, Toyota, and Ford. I've been told there will be no points deductions for Chevrolet due to eliminating the Malibu, but that's a whole other story for another day, and that's a joke, by the way. All right, so those are the points right now as we go into this Atlanta Motor Speedway race. It's going to be one that I think is going to produce a lot of action here from the bottom to the top, as you know how a worn-out surface works. So I think we're going to see some wild racing here throughout this event. But right now, we're going to go trackside for the playing of our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
All right, great rendition of the national anthem there. Of course, we're about 5 seconds away from the grid setting themselves up here. So, obviously, want to give a shout out to Steve Ritter tonight, last minute, as jumped in to be the sponsor of this Atlanta race tonight. So, the Leaf Guard of Vermont 200 here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. Of course, you saw also Peachtree involved, which, of course, the Peach State and so on and so forth. Peachtree City right down the road. And obviously, big shout out to what Steve has done for the series this season with sponsoring the numerous races. Shout out to Brantley from Harpoon Design, of course, for what he has done for the series. Of course, sponsoring the series this season. Much appreciated there. And all the sponsors and all the drivers, as we're going to make this a very fun race here tonight, as it's getting awkward in chat. As let's go trackside now and meet our starting lineup here for the race here at Atlanta Motor Speedway, the Legacy Edition. Stephen Miles, his second pole of the season, I believe, off the top of my head. Mark Whitley, there's the points leader, top 10, and it's his. We'll see how this all goes. Austin Bloom with a great qualifying effort tonight in that 45 car. He'll start next to Craig Martin, another qualifying effort, good for him in that 22 car. Matthew Weeks, Mike Husby, they have row number 3. Christopher Heller broke the streak last week at Dover. He's looking for 2 in a row here tonight. In the 7th position, there's your Rookie of the Year, Joseph McWhorter, in the outside of row 4. Kyle Ethier, Josh Dillon in row 5. Colin Curlis and his PR club, not sure if they're here tonight, but Brad Delph will start to his outside there in row number 6. Zach Rogers, Dylan Rosenberg, row 7. Jackson Van Pelt, Nick Terrell, row 8. Jonathan Smith and Justin Ray will take row 9. Trey Holmes, Jake Vanoski, that's a Talladega winner right there, starting in the 20th position. Stephen Melnick, Nick Leo, Casey Carrington. I think this might be his worst qualifying effort of the season. We'll start 23rd next to Kyle Hall. Wesley Donaldson, Stephen Henning in row 13. Row 14, Tyler Bellinger. And it's got Steve Ritter, but I've noticed that Ritter, unfortunately, is not made to grits. I don't know if he had some work come up. I know he has talked about that potentially before, so let's hope that's not the case. Race information tonight, 130 laps, 200 miles. This Leaf Guard of Vermont 200 here at the Legacy Atlanta Motor Speedway. Make sure you check out All-American on Facebook, and you might want to make a note of this. In July will be the first week that you'll be able to apply for Season 8. Of the All-American Cup Series here coming up, so just wanted to let you know that. As the green flag waves, the finale here in Atlanta. Congratulations, that's awesome. Made it through the first year. It gets easier from there. Slight sarcasm there, but no, in all seriousness, congratulations to you guys. Cameras presented by Harpoon Design, the league's by Harpoon Design. Cameras by TrackCams22.com. Check them out online on Facebook and the iRacing forums at TrackCams22.com. As off of turn 4, Mark Whitley leads a lap. There's a bonus point. That moves it up to 9th position now for him. Finishes 9th or better, he's the champion. Racing here as Matthew Weeks, Joseph McCorder, the 22, that's Craig Martin. And that 45, as I mentioned, Austin Bloom, those guys battling for 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th all right here. As I mentioned, this Atlanta track, if you're not used to it, you run all the way from the bottom all the way to the top. There is not really a faster groove around, it just comes down the field. Now, the one thing that is different about this track compared to the Atlanta before they repaved it is this track was scanned back in 2006, so the surface is not as old as it might look or sound. So the fall off isn't as necessarily as bad as it was, say, 2021 before the track was repaved. Already 3 laps complete. There you see Husby and Dillon behind Heller there in that, what I'm guessing is Elliott Henderson Graphics. It's the only EH I know that does graphics and stuff on that car, so sponsorship for the 8. Let's go up here to 3rd as McCorder working his way up. He's gone to the outside of Austin Bloom, takes the position away, now to the outside of Miles for 2nd, so making a statement here early is the Driven Motorsports presented by HDR team. So you see already that middle groove starting to come into play. As you watch Matthew Weeks, Mike Husby, Josh Dillon has mentioned those guys fighting it out, but everybody from 3rd place down is within 2/10 of each other, all the way to the back. We'll have to get a fixed setup here now. As handling comes into play, that's going to grow more and more, but everybody pretty tight on each other here early in this race. As we're 7 laps in. So as we combine to complete lap number 7, Whitley's lead down to 0.6 of a second already, as here comes McCorder. It's like he's been fired out of a cannon from the 7th position. Gonna go to the outside of his teammate here. You just hope he's not burning up his tires, but he's making it look pretty good up there on that top side. You see the track starting to rubber in pretty well as the 73 goes to P1. Now, the interesting part here is with McCorder leading this lap, it's going to put the number back to 10 for Whitley because he's one of the 4 cars battling for this championship lead right now. Kyle Ethier, Zach Rogers battle it out. This is the 10th position right here. See Colin Curlis there behind him. Like I said, just good racing everywhere right now around this track as everybody just kind of gets a feel. The draft playing a good role. You see cars getting loose everywhere on the track here tonight. So this track, of course, built back in the late 1950s, early 1960s, was known as the Atlanta International Raceway. And at that time, it was a 1.522 mile oval, just a straight up oval with 28 degrees of banking all the way around the track. The straightaways were just as long as the corners were. And then, of course, in 1997, they flipped the track and made the back straightaway to front stretch and then turned it to the V-shaped oval that you see here. And then, of course, 3 years ago, Marcus Smith decided to turn this into a super speedway. And that's the new model that you have now. And it's funny because iRacing put out a survey back a few weeks ago. And as Austin Bloom's up in the outside wall, and he hits the wall hard, right down into Craig Martin. And they hit again, and up into the wall they go. With Kyle Ethier, Zach Rogers, and caution's going to come out. At lap 14. Unfortunately, Bloom getting stuck into the outside wall. And that brings the caution out here for the first time. Let's take a look at the replay here real quick. Probably going to get some pit stops here, I would think. But Bloom just gets up at the outside wall. And then Craig Martin gets under the car there. And then, of course, they up the banking, as you know, with the speed they're going there. And unfortunately, Kyle Ethier nowhere to go. Zach Rogers nowhere to go. It looks like 4 cars. Let's go back here a little bit further. That's already happened here, so. You see Austin just gets up the track here, hits the main concrete portion of the wall, and then bam, slams the safer barrier. And there it just becomes a chain reaction, unfortunately. And nice job by Rosenberg to miss, Jonathan Smith missing in the 72, and others, as the whole entire field is on pit road here. What kind of strategy are we going to see? Race off pit road's going to be Melnick. And then Delph, it looks like, so we're going to have a mixed bag of tires and fuel here. Have After the first caution, you see Brad Delph 6.9 on pit road, McCorder, Miles of 14.5, then Ray. So this is where the race gets interesting now with all the strategy play. Coming in right here in this Leaf Garden Vermont 200. And I'm going to mute my mic for just a quick second. All right, getting ready to go back green here at lap number 18. So Brad Delph, as I looked over everything real quickly here, Brad Delph, he took fuel only here on this restart. Or he's going to take fuel only here, and is going to be the leader going green. McCorder, Heller, who's third, Miles fourth, Weeks fifth, Whitley is sixth, Mike Husby seventh. All those guys are on tires. Dylan Rosenberg, who's eighth, looks like fuel only. Carrington went fuel only, at least, and is ninth, and then Josh Dillon on 4 tires is 10th. So this is going to be interesting because just this many laps in, wheel spin's going to come into play here. So Brad's going to have to be very careful. Rule number 1 of wheel spin, car goes to the right. So Brad, if I'm him, I want to be leaving a lot of room to the right just in case. But he's going to have to be careful here. Into the restart zone. It's okay so far. I saw him start to spin the tires there. You want to try to short shift if you can. McCorder will get a restart. Miles jumps up to the top side here and gets to second. Hello, Brantley. As McCorder right now showing himself a little rocket ship to the front. You're going to see some comers and goers here. Some people trying to steal some track position early in this race. I will say the fuel mileage here, about 35 laps with the percentage of fuel that they run here at Atlanta. 35 laps on a tank of fuel. So obviously from here, you're still looking at a 3 or 4 stopper. Let's go down the back straightaway here. Whitley and Weeks. It's a battle for the 4th position here. As you see Miles and Heller battle for second. 3 wide back here with Carrington. Carrington been battling a little bit of a... as he's getting loose there. As cars almost hitting each other. Everybody got to be careful here. A little bit of a, I guess, issue, if you will, we'll call it. not feeling the best, but hopefully he's fighting it out there and doing his best here tonight. Miles looking pretty good there after his pole run tonight. That one car he did lose second to Heller as he starts to make some moves here. Fastest lap of the race that time by that 8 car, carrying that momentum. And they always say that first win's the hardest to get, and when you're breaking a streak like he did last week, it's almost like winning your first race all over again. Back straightaway, you see Whitley move to third around Miles, and Heller's going to go to the front underneath McWhorter. Should be able to slide up right there, so move the 8 to the top spot here at lap 23. So at first it looked like McWhorter might run away with this thing, but now looks like Heller's got his feet under him and takes that 8 car to the front. Already a fourth different leader of the night when you count Stephen Melnick. Not sure if you guys can pick up the bird noises in the background, but if so, there's really nothing I can do about those swans or whatever they're called. Oh, Carrington gets into Smith. And that's going to bring the caution out. Second caution out, and I think Vinovsky got a piece of that also, and that's 7. Casey was back there struggling with no tires. I wonder if he just looks like just mistimed when Jonathan would get on the brakes there or to get out of the gas. And the 7, of course, with a T-bone stake there on the 72. Second caution, unfortunately, here. Let's get one more view of this from the crash cam. And 9 gets into the back of the 72. Tough break for Jonathan, who's been part-time this season. And we have a mixed bag now on pit road, as Bellinger, Kyle Hall, Henning, Ray, Melnick, a few of these cars coming back to pit road here. This might be the guys that all came in for fuel only a few minutes ago or having damage. Going to get their cars fixed up here. This is going to give me an opportunity because I do like to do this. Try to do it before the race, but sometimes it can be kind of hard to do, especially at a night like tonight where you're got the points championship and stuff going on. But Stephen Miles picks up his second pole of the season, and let's get the driver of the 1 car, and let's pull him up here and have a quick word with him. Steven, you got a copy?
Yeah, I got a copy.
Yeah, I just want to talk to you real quick about the pole award, man. Congratulations, second pole this season. I know you seem to get in a lot of practice at this track here lately, so I'm sure that helped out.
Yeah, kind of surprised looking at some of those guys in practice. They was running up high, so I couldn't really put that lap down in practice, and I guess the little track change kind of went in our favor, but still got a long ways to go.
Absolutely, man. How's the track been driving here so far? I see it's rubbering up. Is it starting to kind of slick up a little bit, or are you feeling tighter? What are we feeling?
Yeah, it's at first it felt good, that first run, just been saving. I haven't went all out yet, but Right now it's gripping up in the middle, but it's getting so hard to get to the bottom, and it's kind of hurting you on the exit, making you even more loose on the right rear. So I was just talking to Ether about that, how it's kind of hard to get to the bottom just after those 20 laps now. So I was just wondering what it's gonna be like towards the end of the race.
Absolutely, man. Well, hey, best of luck. Obviously, 100 laps to go here, and maybe we'll get you a victory here tonight.
Yeah, hopefully if God willingly allow it, man. Have a good one up there and all the fans watching.
Yes, sir. Stephen Miles, of course, with iRacing and running in P4, it looks like, as he comes to the restart here. And the pole winner tonight, of course, presented by Mike Husby Designs. Guess that's something I did not plan for before moving up here and stuff, was the fact that you could have birds in your backyard when you live on a little lake. So, nothing like a little ambiance up here if you're picking up the audio. If not, then hey, cool. We won't say another word about it. All right, so Heller leading the race here as we come to the green McCorder. Whitley, Miles, Husby. Your top five. If you're watching the stream, obviously, if you're hearing my voice, you're watching. Duh. Share it out. Send it out to some friends, family, racers, whatever. If you're in a Discord, let them know. Come check out the Captain Esports Network as we go green. As Heller takes off, Whitley gets a pretty good restart there on the bottom. One thing you might have noticed we've started doing here on the Captain Esports Network is throwing out YouTube shorts, usually of the finishes or if something exciting happens during the race, and get it out there so that people that are using the shorts, maybe like watching those videos and swiping through, will come across a Captain Esports Network race of one of the series that we broadcast. And I've been watching the views of all the videos that we've been posting, been seeing good turnouts for everything. It's been really impressive actually to see happen. As McWhorter goes back to the bottom, is going to take the lead for now, unless Heller carries it down off turn 2 here. Let's see if McWhorter slides up. He does not, gives him plenty of room. So a big shout out to everybody who's been watching those and showing the support for those. We'll have one tomorrow for this series. It's very hard to do the night of because it usually takes about 12 hours or so, roughly, for the video to become downloadable on my end after a broadcast. So usually the next day I get it out there. So we'll get this finished and who knows whatever else out into a YouTube short over the weekend. So big shout out to everybody for watching those. Hopefully you've enjoyed them if you've watched them. Also, I want to share for those who might have had to adjust the volume there for the interview with Miles. One thing I've been working on doing is I've been getting some feedback from drivers that my volume level for the broadcast has been low. Not necessarily myself or the racing or whatever, but just the broadcast in general has been lower. So I turned it up and hopefully it's turned up the volume, but because of that, obviously everything went up volume-wise. So I've had to adjust people as I talk to them. So just bear with me here for a little bit as we have to work on that too. As we ride with Wesley Donaldson, 8th position right now, behind Josh Dillon. Once again, these cars really not separating out. It's actually kind of looking like a super speedway race. As looks like the 72 up on the outside wall there a little bit. Six of the 27 cars on the lead lap here in this Leaf Garden Vermont 200 at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Still a little low. Aw, I don't know what other volumes I can adjust. But thank you for letting me know that. So, how much louder is the commercials still? That's my main question, because I've been told that the commercials have been blowing people's ears out. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm looking at him right here on my screen. Heller's still leading. The thing is, Tucker, when my volume levels look good on my end, it's the volume levels of the stream going out from OBS to YouTube. And that, unfortunately, that comes through my computer. And that's where I've gone through the volume levels of, like, my sound settings and things to try to turn everything up. So I'm still working on that. And maybe there's somewhere else I can adjust more, but we'll see. Let's go back to the 12th position here is Colin Curlis, Kyle Hall, who's back after a couple weeks off. Brad Delph, and there's Nick Leo, the 69 car. Almost some 3 wide here. Leo almost got squeezed. Yeah, I've tried that. And actually, believe it or not, there's times, like yesterday, for instance, or Wednesday I did a stream, I actually had it playing in my ears while I was talking, so I could hear everything going. As here we go for the lead in the quarter, back at it with Heller. Mark Whitley waiting right there in that 3rd position. And this is the beauty of this track. Well, trust me, I've been working on it for a long time. To be able to finally have the racing levels to where the cars are actually heard with me is probably one of the toughest battles I've had. Because people were like, you gotta get the cars louder. Then all of a sudden, you gotta turn yourself up. You gotta turn the cars down. It's like I finally have that mix. And I appreciate the feedback because that's all I need. I need feedback. So Heller able to hold off McCorder so far. Let's go back here to 7th. Wesley Donaldson battling with Mike Husby, Stephen Mile. Oh, and now Wesley's in the wall. As some drivers like to tell Wes, almost 4 wide into 3. Wes, there's a wall there. But everybody okay here so far. See, I can tell you this right now. I actually just played it. I got it in my ears now again. And the commercial that played beforehand was a little louder. So I can tell the difference there. But this battle right here is also telling the difference in this race right now. Is look at this. Kyle Hall trying to get around Dillon. Delph's there with Donaldson in the 97. Tyler Bellinger, who's made a couple starts here late in the season in his rookie campaign in that Dale Jarrett car. Greg Barton coming to pit road, obviously with some damage. Top 4 have pretty much settled out within a tenth or two of each other. These guys here are just on top of another right here. I mean, look at this. Now you got Curlis joining the battle. The 07 is in this battle. Let's actually jump to third. Here comes Weeks to the inside of Whitley. Remember, everybody came to pit road at lap 15. We're at 44 now. Some cars came to pit road at that second caution at 25, so you're going to start seeing some pit stops in the next 5 to 10 laps here. As Heller under attack, here comes McWhorter for the lead. Side by side, Whitley getting danced. These cars starting to get a little loose with these tires wearing out. Whitley starting to join this battle. 3, 4, 5 cars now. As the clouds start to come over the track, which is going to put more grip in it until you get to turn 1, and all of a sudden the sun pops out. As Whitley's moved to second now. Good racing up here at the front. Easy Weeks getting a little loose here. Enjoying watching this right now as they fight. Colin Curlis comes to pit road. Running in the top 20 right now. There's some great racing going on everywhere, including right here at the front. Some other good racing back around 10th position. Right, keep an eye on that as McWhorter almost got into Heller there. That could have been bad. Weeks down there painting that white line. All of a sudden, Wesley Donaldson coming into play too in that 6th position back there. I see that 61. I'm gonna, just for those watching so it doesn't sound weird, I'm gonna turn my volume up, see what it does. I'm pretty sure it's gonna overmodulate here. Just FYI. So, as we combine to complete 52 laps in this race, Weeks in the 2nd position as we ride on board with him about 0.2 of a second back as these guys take a break for a second. Let's jump back here to Casey Carrington, Dylan Rosenberg, Trey Holmes is his 14th, 15th, and 16th positions. I mean, looking at Jackson Van Pelt up there in the 07 car, he battles with Husby. As up front, Weeks still trying to put that pressure on Whitley. Heller's fallen all the way back to the 5th position now, and he's got Wesley Donaldson on him, so you wonder if he wore his tires out here a little too much. Miles here for 3rd. We got 2 battles here. We got this one here now shaping up. Like 2 or 3 battles out here on track. 56 laps complete here as we're getting near the halfway point. Again, pit stop's going to be at any minute here for a lot of these cars that pitted at lap 15 in this race. As Miles clears for position. And look at this. Two cautions early in this Leaf Garden Vermont 200. The Atlanta Motor Speedway. Who's going to make the first move to pit road here? Of course, with 35 laps. Here it is right on cue. It's going to be Miles. It's going to be McCorder. Going to be Donaldson and others here as Van Pelt sliding through into his pit stall here. Jake Vanoski on pit road and others. Here comes Matthew Weeks to pit road. 4 tires and fuel for everybody here. Heller's in, Kyle Hall, Josh Dillon, Nick Leo on pit road. Don't go over that white line. As Whitley comes to pit road, it looks like. Trey Holmes on pit road. As Tyler Bellinger picks up the lead here. Kyle Hall, Josh Dillon, as I mentioned, Leo. And you can see on the left side of the screen who's on pit road, their pit times, and so on and so forth. Let me add the laps on there so you know they're like already made their stop for this run or not. Right there. So everybody who's pitted at the lap 15 caution has been in. Here comes Casey Carrington to pit road. So Carrington, Stephen Henning on pit road. Jonathan Smith leaving his pit stall right now. And look at the fresh tires come flying through this field right now. So I don't know if it's made a difference here for those who have been tracking the audio. As Whitley comes flying in about, ran over Justin Ray there. I've turned my volume up on my microphone and the cars too, so let me know if it's any louder or any better or whatever. This almost turned into a mess right here, and Heller is caught in a 3-wide mess in front of him. So everybody who pitted at the lap 15 caution has come to pit road here, and that leaves everybody who is not pitted or pitted at lap 25 now to come to pit road in the next 5 laps or so as we come up to halfway next time by. Tyler Bellinger, Brad Delph, Dylan Rosenberg, Justin Ray, Nick Terrell, your leaders. Ray comes to pit road here at lap 64. Let me say this right now. This strategy right now, as I'm doing the math in my head here, is actually looking pretty good here because they come to pit road here at 65. And let's hypothetically call it 35 laps. 65 and 35 is 100. 35 from there is 135. You get to the finish of the race where the guys who pitted at 15 will use Whitley, for an example, here, 59. So we'll just estimate the 60, which gets you to 95, which gets you to 130, which gets you to finish of the race. So he's looking good there. So this could get interesting. So Terrell now on pit road, and that's going to hand the lead back to this guy right here, Joseph McCorder. Once these guys get back around here, it'll be McCorder, Matthew Weeks, Stephen Miles, Wesley Donaldson, Mark Whitley, your top 5. Appreciate all the viewers watching here tonight. If you're new to the chat, hit that subscribe button. If you're not new, we appreciate you coming back and joining us. Final broadcast we'll have until Monday. Just a reminder now, please wish your wife or loved ones or whatever a happy Mother's Day. Your moms, stepmoms, grandmoms, cousins' moms. Anybody else you know's mom? '91 of Dylan Rosenberg looking here beneath the 97. Ooh, net code. Big net code. And they saved it. Steve Ritter, hello, sir. Hopefully work's not killing you too much. I appreciate you sponsoring all the series races and stuff here this year. As up front, here comes Matthew Weeks looking for the lead on McCorder. McCorder's down there a little bit, about a half a groove up. Got to be careful. Don't want to squeeze that car. That's bringing Miles into this battle. It's bringing Wesley Donaldson in. Here comes Whitley. right, Martin exits pit road. Unfortunately for him, he is 27 laps down in that 22 car. So unfortunately, a lot of damage. We ride with Stephen Miles here in the one car as these two continue to battle up there, and Miles has the popcorn seat, if you will, here. The old Gen 4 at Atlanta has always been fun to watch. And wait till they get the actual Gen 4 model out, as they're going to lap Stephen Melnick here. As Weeks trying to get back at it here. See Whitley back there behind Miles starting to cut through the field here a little bit. Ooh, at the line that time, I think it was McWhorter led that lap. That was pretty tight. These guys continue to battle it out. So you got the top two fighting for the lead. Whitley's right there about 20 or about 0.2 of a second back. I mean, literally the top five right here, and then you got about 3 seconds back to Heller. Mike Husby about 1.3 seconds back. Nobody giving up. That's the way it is. That's the way it should be here in this final race of the season. Now you got 3 of the 4 within 4 points of each other. Of course, Whitley right now would win the championship if this race ends, but you got these two here that are battling for the lead. They're also only 4 seconds separate, or 4 seconds, 4 points separating them too. Oh, leaning on each other here. Ladies and gentlemen, I think I fixed the problem. Woohoo! Thank you guys for the feedback, by the way, and I know it's been a kind of a pain probably adjusting your volumes for me, and I apologize for that, but thank you for working with me. As again, each broadcast I try to get better at what I'm doing here. And it's what God knows how many I've done now in a couple years. So McWhorter holds him off and continues to lead here. Now you got to hope that they didn't burn their tires up, because that's going to let these others come into play here. As Whitley comes into play, so is Stephen Miles, as mentioned, Wesley Donaldson. There's Heller, as I mentioned, about 2.6 seconds back from Donaldson. He's 3.3 back altogether from the lead. And you wonder if Weeks is going to slow. He's getting loose on the straightaway even here. Good news for those curious, there's nothing else going on around each other. Just these 5. Everybody else, well, let me check that. These guys took a break for a second. Carrington to the inside of Van Pelt for 8th. This just happened literally, and you see Casey gets loose. So that didn't happen. Everybody else now is pretty much single file, and, well, here we go. As Whitley now is back up to second. It's like Moto Combat. Round one, fight. Ooh, a slider on the teammates. Man, that is such a tricky corner to be side by side in going into turn one, because you want to get out as far as you can to the wall and then turn it in to apex the corner. And you saw where Weeks and McWhorter almost came together going into the corner, just trying to get to the same apex or to the hit their marks into the corner. And 5 cars. Where's the blanket? There's some beating and banging. Weeks is trying everything. Now he's going to run up here in the Larson lane. Here comes Miles now to the inside of Weeks. Great stuff here. Let's bounce back. Here's now Jackson Van Pelt, who's having a fantastic run in the 7th position here. This is the outside of Husby, and he's going to take that spot away. 07 car looking pretty sporty here. That's back to the front. Carrington diving it down to the bottom. Now as he tries to get around Husby, as he tries to work his way up, he's up to the 9th position after starting 23rd. Been pretty much playing catch up the whole entire time, and right now would finish 4th in the points. Just from how tight the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th place battle was entering this race. As mentioned, Whitley looking to do something that only one other team has done, and that is lock up not only the Drivers' Championship for himself, but the team and the Rookie of the Year standings. They've already got those two. It's just Whitley to get the championship, or McWhorter even. But for Whitley also the chance to win the title for the 2nd straight season, which has only been done one other time. And right now, unless chaos ensues, he pretty much has this all but locked up as Miles slides up into McWhorter a little bit. Now gets a little loose. Has to hold on to her, and a great save by the one. It's going to move Wesley up to 3rd. Donaldson with a little help from a He's got a spotter tonight, a gentleman you might know the name pretty well if you watch these streams a lot on the Captain Esports Network. A guy by the name of Tyler Dalton is hanging out, spotting for him tonight. So as they all put a lap on Jonathan Smith. Unfortunately, I'm not sure how much damage he's still got in that car, but I know it got pretty torn up earlier, and I see the right front's still got a crinkle in it. Let's go back here. Kyle Hall, 16th position here as he battles with Nick Terrell and Justin Ray as Melnick comes to pit road. And this should be the start of another round of pit stops coming up right here. And who's going to be the first to budge for the leaders? So 92 laps complete, only the one caution so far, or two cautions so far. As Husby and Kyle Hall come to pit road. The two driven teammates with HDR leading this race. Miles now getting around Weeks, who's probably burned up his tires here a little bit. And that's a pass for the fourth position. These guys are all just giving it their all out here. So again, drivers who are interested in racing in Season 8 next coming up actually in a couple months. They usually take a little break here for the summer. Looks like registration going to be around 4th of July time. So look for, just get in the Discord page, hang out. Carrington will mention when signups happen. Of course, 90% of signups will happen at the last minute, but you'll get, time to get signed up. And the first race should be somewhere around the first or second week of August for season number 8. And of course, the cool part about this series is you get that overall championship that will pick up from the end of this race tonight and into next season, along with a separate championship that'll just be those 14 races. So a pretty cool thing there. So if you need any help, want to be a part of this league, just let me know or let Casey Carrington know. I'll get you in contact with Casey either way, and we'll get you a part of the fun next season in the All-American Cup Series. And a big shout out again to Harpoon Design, who put his name out here on the series this season. Appreciate what Brantley has done. Of course, numerous paint schemes there on iRacing for you to choose from. You can always reach out to them by looking up Harpoon Design, of course, on Facebook. As Wesley Donaldson will be the first of the leaders to pit road here at lap 96. And of course, if you go through Trade and Paint, you look up a paint scheme, more than likely Brantley has painted it, especially, as I mentioned, the Toyota paint schemes. He does a fantastic job of doing like all the Gibbs cars or 2311 cars or whatever. Can't wait to see the Mobile One paint that you're going to see Corey Heim race at Nashville when he gets done with that, if he's not already done it. But over 2K now. Congratulations, man. That's awesome. Good for you. As Carrington just knocked the wall down. It looked kind of weird. I was like, you almost wonder if he blew a tire or something there, but he's still on pace. As McWhorter, Miles on pit road now. Matthew Weeks, here he comes down pit road. So is Josh Dillon and others here at lap number 97. So Whitley on pit road, so is Heller now. This is at lap number 99. So again, the final pit stops likely of the season here for these guys as they launch out. There goes Whitley leaving with a 15.8, kind of a slower stop there. Heller a 14.9. That might be one of those like Jeff Gordon 1998 stops where Ray Everett went out and pitted the car and stuff. It's like, all right, look, let's just be careful here and just get all 4 tires on there, no issues on pit road, and get out there in the top 10. As Nick Terrell leads, as Justin Ray and Bellinger come to pit road. McWhorter just running the fastest lap of the race as he's trying to chase down Wesley Donaldson now, who's going to take over the lead of this race once all the pit stops get finished here. But Terrell and Rogers still out there right now as they're trying to play the long game here and maybe get a yellow. So once Terrell comes to pit road, it will be the 61 going to be the leader of the race. Zach Rogers there third as Mark Whitley just ran the fastest lap of the race, a 30.78. But still 28 laps to go here. It is Leaf Garda Vermont 200. So 26 laps to go as Terrell still out there. He pitted at lap 66. And we're at lap 104 right now. So this is coming up on almost 40 laps in this run. So he should be on pit road here any minute. Matter of fact, it looks like he's pulling down right now. So he might be coming to pit road this time by. And when this happens, you're going to see Wesley Donaldson lead this race by that much right there. 1.7 seconds over McWhorter, over Miles, Matthew Weeks, as there's Terrell on pit road now. So that cycles everybody back around here. 25 laps to go. All right, so 23 now to go. 1.6 seconds back to McWhorter. Miles is about a second back. from second, and then Matthew Weeks about 0.4 of a second back. And then it's about 1.1 seconds back to Mark Whitley. Everything right now looking pretty good for that 77 car, as it is 3.8 seconds back to Christopher Heller in the 6th position. Jackson Van Pelt having a great run. The 07 car running 7th. Casey Carrington up to the 8th position. You see that damage on the right front. Josh Dillon in the 12 car running P9 right now. And Dylan Rosenberg having another top 10 run after a top 3 finish earlier this week in a race at Talladega. Dylan followed it up with another top 10 run. As Mike Husby leaving pit road, unfortunately spent a few minutes on pit road there. Nick Leo, 11th position for him. Tyler Bellinger in a 97 car running in the 12th position. Brad Delph in the 14 car running 13th. Kyle Hall up 10 positions, started 24th. He's up to the 14th position in the 87. Justin Ray, 0.3 back, trying to hawk down that 87 car as they battle for 14th. Nick Terrell, of course, just came off pit road. He's got the fresh tires, but he's got the leaders right here in front of him, so he's got to be careful with that. Runs 16th. Jake Vanoski, the Talladega winner here on this series, running 17th right now. Jonathan Smith running 18th, of course, involved in the incident earlier that brought out the last caution in this race. Zach Rogers involved in the first caution tonight. He's 19th. Stephen Henning is 20th. 21st, Kyle Ethier was involved in that first caution. And then, obviously, Melnick is still on track. In the 34 car, I mentioned Mike Husby, who just came off pit road. Austin Bloom, who started in the top 5, one of his best starts of his career. Their 24th, Craig Martin in the 25th position. And then the 2 other cars out of the race, Trey Holmes and Colin Curlis. As they come back to the line, right there's your leaders. 18 to go. It is 0.8 of a second, all 5 leaders within a second of each other right here. Just when you think you could get away, you can't. Big shout out to the viewers again tonight. Appreciate everybody watching here on the Captain Esports Network. If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. If you're not, we do appreciate you coming back. We always ask, please feel free to share out to your friends, your family, if you're in a Discord, wherever you may be watching, and can pass the word, share the link or whatever, or even give them the YouTube page that they can come watch on the Captain Esports Network. I didn't realize that's kind of cool. I've never seen this feature before over on my YouTube studio. It's actually telling me that ads are playing for some of the people right now, so they might not even be hearing me say hi. But no, I do appreciate everybody for making this season a successful one. And again, tomorrow we'll get a YouTube short up of the race or the finish or something. If something changes here in the next few minutes or whatnot, we'll get it up there tomorrow so that you can see the highlights, if you will, of the final laps or whatever takes place here these next 15 to go. They put a lap on Kyle Ethier. As Wesley trying to maintain that gap in that 61 car. And the battle for second comes back to life as these two earlier went to battle for about, what, 15, 20 laps straight. And when does it become a point here? You got 14 to go. If you're Mick Horder, who has proven himself to be very tough to pass throughout the season, but when do you say, you know what, Matthew, you can have the spot and give him second position, knowing that you're likely going to be the runner-up in the point standings? Because right now, the way it shapes up, with Carrington running 8th, Mick Horder running 2nd, and Weeks running 3rd, it would likely be Mick Horder 2nd, Weeks 3rd, Carrington 4th in the point standings. And even if they swap positions, it would not make a difference. As Whitley to the outside of Miles for 4th. Eleven laps to go, and as we have seen in some of the series, as we get this late in the race, things can happen. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not trying to jinx it or anything, but things can happen. Just speaking the truth. His top 3 starting to come under a blanket here as they come up on some lap traffic. Wesley Donaldson trying to get series win number 1. And then, oh, by the way, he's going to run another series race after this. And by the way, I mentioned earlier we only had 2 cautions. Wesley Donaldson started 25th in this race and has worked his way up to the lead. Now, obviously, the couple cautions, you can mix up strategy a little bit, and that's helped him get up here. But he is flat out just used pit strategy, and as Kyle Hall gets the outside wall, Matthew Weeks gets the outside wall. These guys racing hard. Tires are pretty much roast. Just hear how long they're just rolling into the throttle before they're full throttle. Just listen. There's an egg underneath the throttle, as we like to say. And by the way, the top 5 are coming back together again. It's like a yo-yo here. Top 5 separated by 1.1 seconds. If you're Weeks, are you sitting back here kind of saving as much as you can tire-wise and then going after it here in the last couple of laps? Are all 3 of these guys racing hard? The great thing is we just don't know. Ooh, Wesley gets loose. McWhorter dives down. And he's got the lead. 4 to go with Donaldson trying to cross him over. Ooh, Weeks is up in the outside wall. That's going to do him in. Scraped it up just a little bit. As Whitley goes to second. Whoa. Nice job by Donaldson not to get out of the gas so he didn't run him over. Two to go. Shaping up right now to be the dream ending for Driven Motorsports with HDR as Mark Whitley looks to become the second two-time winner and back-to-back champion. But all of a sudden, Miles there looking to the outside, not able to get him as we hit the white flag. Final lap of the season. Oh, he and Miles and Whitley almost come together for second. Joseph McWhorter bringing it out of turn 4. He is going to bookend the season after winning the opener at Daytona. He's going to lock down second in points and win here at Atlanta in the Leaf Garden Vermont 200. And Mark Whitley is your second back-to-back champion as he wins the Season 7 championship in the All-American Cup Series presented by Harpoon Designs. As I was starting to say, the dream ending for Driven Motorsports as they finish 1-3 instead of 1-2, but locked down both first and second in the points. The Rookie of the Year, the team standings, doing what only one other team, and that's Mountain Man Motorsports, was able to do back in season number 3. It looks like both of them are going to do just kind of parking it here at the start-finish line. Maybe some synchronized burnouts, which we've seen in another league before. It actually turned into a TP setup when that happened. So let's see how this goes. All right, so we'll let those guys celebrate. Let's take a look at the finishing order here in Atlanta as McWhorter wins it by a half second over Miles. Whitley finishes third, Donaldson fourth, and Matthew Weeks fifth. Christopher Heller ends up sixth with Van Pelt seventh, Josh Dillon eighth. Casey Carrington finishes ninth, and Dylan Rosenberg 10th, Nick Leo 11th, Tyler Bellinger 12th, Justin Ray 13th, Nick Terrell 14th, and Brad Dell finishing in the top 15 tonight. The rest of the standings, Zach Rogers, Kyle Hall, Jake Vanoski, Jonathan Smith, Kyle Ethier, Stephen Henning 21st, Steve Melnick 22nd, Husby 23rd, Austin Bloom 24th, and Craig Martin finishing in the 25th position. Trey Holmes, Colin Curlis finished 26 and 27. Steve Ritter, unfortunately, has had some things happen, so he wasn't able to make the race here tonight. And we appreciate Tim for what he has done here this season. So earlier tonight, at the beginning of the broadcast, I brought up the 4 best drivers in the Speedway races. And I didn't tell you purposely who the 4 drivers were, and I did that, again, on purpose. Joseph McWhorter, Matthew Weeks, Mark Whitley, and Casey Carrington, the top 4 in points, basically, when it's all over with here. We're the top 4 in the Speedway races this season. Of course, Carrington not having the best of runs here tonight, but still able to hold on to 4th in points and go from there. So we'll talk to our champion, we'll talk to our winner, we'll talk to our top 3, basically, in the race, and go from there. Let's talk to those drivers now. Let's get the Discord channel on. Let's actually skip to our second place finisher here really quickly and talk to Stephen Miles first, who finishes second here tonight. Congratulations. Obviously, Stephen, great battle there at the end as you put on that strategery that you like to do there at the end and made those tires work and grabbed second from Whitley there in the final laps.
Yeah, bittersweet. They did an excellent job. Well, everybody did. I know we had a couple cautions at the beginning, and at Atlanta, you expect that how greasy and slippery this track is, and the track went through 2 different phases, so you had to manipulate with your brakes or do what you had to do. And me, I just wanted to stay on the bottom, and I stayed there all night pretty much. Anybody that passed me, I pretty much let them have it on the outside and try to save my stuff. And there at the end, I think me and McWhorter was pitting with each other, so we was kind of in the same boat, and I just let him go past me and follow suit with him. And I thought Weeks was going to get to him and race him a little bit. That's what I was kind of depending on, how I was saving my tires. And Whitley got to me, and the only thing that hurts me is the patience I have. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. And I ain't go to the high side till with 3 to 4 go to make that run. And once I seen how much more speed I had up there compared to the last 2 guys, I was kicking myself there. I should have went up there around 7th and 8th, 8 laps to go or something like that. But I mean, bittersweet. It's second place again. Haven't got my first one, but it's gonna come.
Well, obviously you, as they say in sports, you live by what you, or you die by what you live by, and that's kind of what happened here tonight. And just looking, I mean, the points aren't updated yet, but just seeing where you were kind of out there on your own little island per se in 6th in points. So I'm assuming that's probably not exactly what you wanted this season, but still to finish top 6 in the points. Is that satisfying, disappointing, motivating? What's the instant feeling?
It's disappointment just knowing the caliber driver I am and knowing the races that I had these past 4 or 5 with Dega or Iowa, all these spots I was getting taken out in the top 5 in the last remaining lap. So even Dover last week, starting, 5th or 6th, and that caution happened and had 4 minutes damage and was able to still make it up to a top 10, top 8. And it's disappointing just knowing I got the speed. I just have to put everything in these races in this league. How many guys can win in this league? You have to put it all together. And Carrington and Whitley is the best at doing that right now, the past 2 seasons. So, and Weeks also, he had a good race and a good season. So, yeah, it's disappointing. It's not motivating. I got enough of that already. So, just wish July would get here so I could give it to him, man. So we're just gonna go to the other leagues, keep the pressure up, and hopefully when we come back next season, we'll give him a run for the championship instead of finishing in the top 5 or 6 every season.
All right, man. Well, great job tonight. Congratulations on a fantastic season. That wins right there, and I know you're going to get it. So obviously you've got the talent to do it, but send some shout-outs whoever you like to.
Thank Casey for putting on this league, man. He does heck of a job preparing and doing what he have to do to mess with the setup or whatever you have to do to make the best racing possible. Appreciate the admins. Appreciate you, best broadcaster out there. Was include these new YouTube shorts. They're amazing. And thank iRacing, my teammates Chris Lewis and Kyle Ether. Hopefully we come back with one or two more next season. And thank God for giving me the ability to race and giving us all the ability to race and be here. And thank the fans for watching and my girlfriend for supporting me, man. That'll be it.
Absolutely, man. Great job tonight. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yes. That is Stephen Miles, second place finisher here at Atlanta. Finishes 6th overall in points. And, hey, he'll be back and ready to fight. We know that for sure. All right, let's grab our Rookie of the Year and winner of tonight's Leaf Garden Vermont 200. And that is also Joseph McCorder, who bookends this season with a win on both sides of the things. Obviously, Joe going to finish second in points, going to get the Rookie of the Year standings. The team obviously locked up the team side. Whitley got the championship. All around team-wise, you did everything you guys could do. Obviously, you coming home with the win tonight, obviously, is pretty good too.
Yeah, it feels good. It sucks to lose by 14 points whenever we had that questionable penalty and missing Bristol. So, sucks to come that close yet again. This is like the bajillionth time that I've lost a championship. So, and like the bajillionth time that I finished second. So, at least I'm consistent, I guess.
Right. Right.
But yeah, that was a really fun race. I mean, I'm sweating my butt off. That was a really good race. I'm like, man, I don't know how you were enjoying the show. I hope you were, because I mean, we were up there. I mean, there was like 5 or 6 of us up there just tossing it around. It was fun.
Yeah, you and Weeks had a pretty good battle for about 20 laps. I mean, I enjoy it. I enjoy anything. But, I mean, you guys were battling for about 20 laps straight side by side. There were a couple of moments where I'm like, guys, don't wreck each other. You're going to take each other out. But I mean, it was entertaining to watch.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I mean, it was kind of the same situation as he and I at Texas Motor Speedway. So, you know, it's really good being able to race him. I mean, he started getting a little frustrated, which I understand. I mean, but I knew that if I let him go, there wasn't any catching him. His long run pace was crazy. So I had to race him hard. I didn't have a chance. Like he just had such good pace. So, yeah, it was still a good time. I mean, there was a little bit of bumping and banging. We were having fun, having a good time. And then, like, I fended off Matthew, and then here comes Miles. I fended him off. And then here comes Mark with, like, the biggest slide job I've ever seen in my life. I was like, there's no way that's sticking. He's going to the wall. And then, like, he just stomps on the brakes and it hits the throttle. I'm like, that's stuck? What?
Right.
That was crazy. I mean, that blew my mind, because I seen him. I was, like, tied on his right rear quarter panel, and then he goes like shooting past me and up the racetrack. I was like, holy moly.
Well, obviously it worked out for him, but you got the battle at the end and getting that win in this race. Was there ever a thought, especially when you were running second, Weeks was giving you pressure at the end there in the last 10 laps of the race, where you were like, you know what, I've got second in points done. Should I go ahead and let Weeks go and just finish third?
No, because me and Weeks were only separated by 4 points coming into the night. So that also factored into it too, because I wanted to at least, you know, keep that streak alive and finish in second at least, and getting a team 1-2. So as he was catching me, I was keeping that in the mindset. I was keeping that in the mindset when we were having that 20-25 lap battle. So yeah, I mean, like, I saw him coming, but he wasn't catching like I thought he was going to, especially whenever I started running with the line the 61 was running. It seemed like it cut off a lot of the momentum he was building. So I think I did a good job of saving the tires and using them at the right time and abusing them on the high side. So like I knew he was coming, and I did not have second place locked up. So I knew I had to fight. Like, I had to fight it. I had to at least fight him. You know, and it just so happened that I started seeing the 61 make a little mistake, make a little bit more of a mistake. Like, he just kept getting more and more sideways, a little bit more sideways. And I'm like, ooh, wait, I'm content with running second, but I'm starting to see a little bit of something. And I just saw just a little mistake, a little mistake, a little mistake. And then, as you see, like, you just kept watching him wiggle out of the corners. And here I came, and I just had a big enough run to where we just cleared him on the straightaway, and Weeks wasn't able to get around him. So, you know, that's as soon as I saw him get stuck and I got that little bit of like a half-second gap, I knew that we had it then.
Well, it worked out for you in the end, so that's why you drive, and I sit up here and act like I know what I'm doing. So, great job tonight, man. Congratulations on the Rookie of the Year title, of course, the second place in points, championship, team title, all that good stuff, and send some shouts whoever you like to.
Yeah, first and foremost, I mean, how about this this race team? I mean, me, Mark, John, Brantley, Daryl, Roger, everybody in behind the scenes that makes this happen. I mean, this was a total team effort. I mean, being able to win the championship, the team championship, the Rookie of the Year, win both the first and last race of the season. I mean, that's a pretty impressive season. So, a lot to hang the hat on. We still got a championship battle to do in Saturday night, so. We're not out of the woods yet of having to really grit our teeth, but I mean, just awesome work by everybody in Driven Motorsports. Next, I want to thank HarpoonDesign.com with Brantley. Awesome, beautiful schemes. You see me and Mark every week. Beautiful paint schemes. Been a sponsor of the season. He's been an awesome partner. I want to thank Rec Hammer Racing. They're beautiful. They get to be the big, beautiful logo on the front of my car every week. So go check them out at RecHammerRacing.com for any race gear and workwear. Again, that's RecHammerRacing.com. You for the broadcast, you do an awesome job. You've been great this whole season. We loved having you. I think I speak for everybody in the league. You've been absolutely fantastic. We still need to get you a co-host, though. I think once we do that, you're going to be just above and beyond. All the drivers for an awesome season. Great turnouts all the way throughout the season. We had awesome car count, so that's really good. And just ready for the off season and hopefully be back in August or whenever it's supposed to restart.
Something like that.
Yeah, something like that. As soon as the real life racing is done, and I'll be back. So now we got to shift my focus to the dirt racing.
There you go, man. Well, great job tonight. Congratulations on the win.
Thanks, brother. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Joseph McCorder, the winner tonight, second in points. And obviously he's going to go focus on the life stuff, as he said, and come back ready to go get that championship here in Season 8. Now, the champion is this guy right here, the third place finisher tonight, and wraps it up with that third and becomes the second driver in series history to win back-to-back championships, and also becomes, as part of the team, you guys became the second team in history to wrap up Rookie of the Year, the team title, and win a championship all in the same year.
Wow, that's a whole list of accomplishments I didn't realize.
Yeah, there's a few there.
Pretty good.
And you're one of the first ones to pull a slide job on your teammate.
Yeah, I knew I didn't want to mess with him too long, so I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to dive it in here. I think I still got enough tires, and I was like, I made it. I cleared them, but I think I made the tires mad, so I kind of couldn't really run away after that. So it was I was trying to just make sure I could get out front, and I thought I could run away, but it doesn't always work that way.
Well, obviously tonight to finish third, I mean, you start up there in the front row, and I brought it up before the race. Mile and a halves were kind of sketchy for you this season. In the four other races, you had you actually, believe it or not, had the most incident points out of everybody in mile and a half tracks, and I was like, ooh, this might not be a good thing. But tonight you held tight. I mean, there were a couple moments I'm like, Mark, what are you doing? But it worked out in the end.
Yeah, I tried to keep our nose clean the whole ride. I knew that was going to be key. I think I did some math, and I figured as long as I think I got a top 10, I would have been pretty safe.
Right.
Wanted to lead that lap. I was getting that good jump on the initial start. Let me lead the first lap. Get that bonus point. That gave me a little bit more confidence. I knew. Actually, looking at the results, I somehow managed to lead the most laps. I don't feel like I did, but it was It was the three or four of us that all led about the same amount. So I mean, it was a really tight battle between a bunch of us there. I think it was just some of us wanted to go harder at different parts of the run, and I thought I was just trying to keep pace. I didn't really want to. As long as I stayed there top 5, I was happy. And then that's what we did. The whole strategy. I tried to play it safe, and I kind of went long on the 2 green flag pit stops. I just wanted to make sure we had enough gas. And I figured tires were a really big deal here, so I figured those 2 or 3 lap, fresher tires, I'd eventually make it back up, and I think I did. But there was a couple times I think I just ran it too hard, and by the time I got there, they were evened off. So, then that last green flag pit stop, I slid through my box a little bit, so that didn't help. So if I hadn't have done that, I feel like I could have maybe got out there and challenged for the win. I really wasn't trying to push it too hard because I I've been in that position before where I've pretty much locked up a championship and tried to go for the win and wind up giving it away. And I really didn't want to repeat that because it was at this track too. So just trying to keep my nose clean. And then at the end there, decided maybe I could try to push it and see if we could maybe get the win. But then I knew, Joseph was just too far ahead with a couple laps to go, and I was just trying to hang on. And once the one got to me, I just kind of just wanted to let him go because I didn't want to accidentally, get run over. If we were running different lines, I didn't know how his tires were. So it's just a matter of, I let him go, be safe, third place. That's more than all I needed. So, finally, we got around some good luck, or maybe not good luck, but we just had decent luck because I know the beginning part of this year was wreck or win, and
Right.
it was more wrecks than wins. So it's glad to finally get back on it. We were finished the season off pretty good with strong finishes. Haven't had a win in a while, but consistency is the main key for going for a championship. So we got that done, and can take a big sigh of relief because all night I've been on pins and needles. So we're all good now.
Yeah, and not to mention we've talked about it for a few seasons. I haven't really said anything since you started winning there mid-season. That whole jinx that seemed to be out there for champions. Obviously, Heller just finally won his first race since his title last week, and of course, Weeks got a couple wins, and it just seems like it's kind of been broken open now that whole cloud is lifted with this championship here tonight. But man, the stage is yours. Give some shout outs whoever you like to.
Yeah, first big shout out to my teammate for winning the race. No, you had some hell of a battles with a couple different guys there. I know I got front row seat to a few of them, and he was wheeling that thing. I know he was wanting to do all he could to try to force. He was tied for second coming in here. He wanted to force me into having to do as good as I could. I know. Yeah, it was hard fought, and shout out to him for winning the race and coming second in the championship. Another shout out to my sponsor, Harpoon Design, Brantley. He makes all our paint schemes. He also spots for us. Can't thank him enough for all that. Takes time out of his busy schedule, and he could be doing other stuff, and he just takes the time out and spots for us and helps crew chief. So I really appreciate that. So if you want to get something done paint job wise, check him out at harpoondesign.com. Or I think he's finally passed 2,000 paints on trading paint. So go check out some of his work on there if you want to see some of the stuff he's already done. And then shout out to my family putting on when they tune into these broadcasted races. I really appreciate it. Means a lot to me, especially, can't always spend as much time with them as you want. So, watching, them taking time out of their day to watch me race virtually, it means a lot. And another big shout out to this league, Casey. We had the real rough patch there, but I think we got it sorted out for the most part. Take a couple months off for the off season and come back, later this year, and hopefully we can keep improving on it. And then a huge shout out to you for putting on these broadcaster races. It's always fun to go back and watch. Even when I mess up, it's kind of fun to go back and watch and see how everybody else did. And this one should be a lot more fun to watch, especially since I know the ending. So yeah, just a big shout out to everybody. Great racing throughout the whole league. Great bunch of guys at the front of the field. Just everything worked out pretty good this season. So no complaints.
Well, great job tonight, man. Congratulations, well earned, and great job all season. Congrats to you, the team, obviously Joe and Brantley and all you guys. So congratulations, man, and go enjoy it.
Thank you. Appreciate
Absolutely. Mark Whitley, the champion of season number 7, matching what he did in season 6. Not as much record-breaking numbers, but he still was able to do it when it came to the consistency to make up for the couple issues he had throughout the season, but able to still pull out the wins and so on and so forth. As you might have heard Joe mention when we were talking there before or during his interview, you mentioned kind of the point standings there, how he finished second by 14. That did end up being the overall point total from first to second was 14 points to Joseph McOrder. Matthew Weeks ends up third, as I'm going to pop up the points here in just a second. Casey Carrington ends up fourth. Christopher Heller fifth. Miles finishes sixth. And let's get down here to the top 20. Mike Husby ends up finishing seventh in the points. Give me a second here. I'll make sure it's the right ones. Yep, we're good. All right, right here. So Weeks, as I mentioned, Carrington, Heller, Miles, Husby, Nick Leo moves up to 9th. 8th. Justin Thompson falls down to 9th in points. Craig Martin finishes in the top 10 with Josh Dillon. Terrell Kyle Ethier 13th, loses a couple spots, ends up tied with Dylan Rosenberg. Melnick, Ritter, Delph, Justin Ray, Isabella, Barkuski, all those guys there in the top 20 in the point standings when it's all said and done. So, another season in the books for All-American Racing. This is the 4th season now, I believe, I've done. And it's been so much fun to be a part of this series. And guess what? As long as they let me, we'll be back again next season to do it again. So looking forward to being a part of season number 8 and seeing what surprises. I have no clue what the schedule looks like. I have no clue what's going to happen rule changes wise. I know there's a survey out there. I'll promote this for you league members. Go and take that survey. And there's even a question on there about the broadcast. I'm not going to sit here and sway you one way or another. You go give the honest answer of what you think. So, but either way, appreciate Casey Carrington. Appreciate Joseph Penn. Hearing that this might be his last race as the admin. Is not sure if he's stepping away or what is the situation, but if it is, Joe, appreciate your hard work, man. I know it's a 5-letter word that I can't say to be an admin and to put up with the hassle and stuff like that. So big shout out to you for doing what you do, and all the best, obviously. And I know we'll stay in contact and obviously your college and stuff like that. Casey, obviously, shout out to you for what you do. Harpoon Designs, big shout out for the sponsorship this season. To Steve Ritter, Leaf Guard of Vermont, obviously for sponsoring at least half the races this season, if not close to half. And big shout out to him for this season. Obviously, all the teams, everybody involved, the fans. I'm sure I'm going to miss people, but everybody, including the viewers and all that stuff, put all this together. So big shout out to everybody. Appreciate all those who watched tonight. As Miles mentioned, the YouTube short, we'll put one together here tomorrow and get that out there and let people enjoy and see the league and so on and so forth. So we'll be back in August. When? We'll see. But you'll know here, of course, on the Captain Esports Network. So let's take off. Enjoy the rest of your Friday night. Happy Mother's Day to all the moms. And we'll talk again later on in the summer. Remember, this isn't just a game. It's iRacing. See ya!
This copyrighted broadcast may not be reproduced, reused, retransmitted, or reformed without the authorized written consent of Captain Esports Network. Captain would like to thank all of his loyal fans for their continued support, and he hopes you enjoyed today's broadcast.
The following is a special presentation. From the Captain Esports Network.